Hello and Ashe. How are you guys? Tell me, which is of all countries watching me. How are you today? How are you today? This is a vlog. I don't do those very much because usually, I have my Hebrew blog, which I use to translate and educate and to write all sorts of spells because we don't have so much of those in Hebrew. I think mine is the oldest one. Mine exists since 2004. It's 11 years old now, soon 12 years old. I would really like to address the stuff that happened in France and also like the 9/11 things. Now, I have my own personal perspective, but I also have a perspective of an Israeli person. I was born in Israel, Hebrew is my mother language, I was raised in a secular Jewish home, and I got educated, and I've been to the Jewish army. This is a disclaimer. I've been to Tzahal, to the Israeli army. I did my full service. I wasn't. I was the lowest class of a warrior there. I was basically a guard. I was a facility guard. That came with all sorts of benefits and other stuff like that. And I fully finished my army service, and I got my recommendations and my trophies and whatnot. And I don't have miluim. I don't have reserve duty. This is one of the things that being a guard gives you. It in here it doesn't give you reserve duty. So I will not be wearing the Israeli army's uniform any longer. It's not a choice. It's mandatory here. Once you hit 18, you have to go to the army. It's the law. If you don't, you can go to prison for that. And then after your prison time, you will still go to the army. It's the law here. Now, I grew up in a place and a time where terrorist attacks were a frequent thing. And we had a time of peace, but now the terrorist thing is coming back. Every day we have stabbings and people being run over, and people are dying, and we catch prisoners. And since we don't have the death penalty, which I think is a mistake, we keep them in prison. We keep them in prison, meaning that my tax money is going to feed prisoners that killed innocent people. That I find this an abhorrence. My personal opinion. Now, I didn't vote specifically for Benjamin Netanyahu, this last prime minister. I voted something else because I'm a left-wing person. And I consider myself a humanist, even though, again, I'm a humanist, but I'm not stupid. I don't think that I should preserve the lives of those people who has no respect for lives. I think you should outlaw organizations that would kill us just because they don't think that we need to exist here. Okay? And I feel really bad for what happened in France. I feel really bad about all those people who died. And I don't care what nationality they were or what was their origin, if they were Jewish or Christians or even Muslims. I feel bad for the Muslims that got caught in the crossfires, because not all Muslims are terrorists. I don't think I have Muslim friends. My family has some land very close to where I live, where we employ a specific Muslim family for over 50 years now. And I know them. I eat their food. They were in my bar mitzvah. And again, I have Muslim friends. I have Christian friends. I have Muslim friends. I have Jewish friends. I understand that some political movements, are indoctrinating people with this fervor that would lead them to do some stuff. But I think that if you are a leader, your first concern should be your people's survival. And if you teach them stuff or put emphasis on stuff that makes them not survive, then you are being a bad leader. If you're fighting for a just cause, and that cause makes your people kill themselves, or as you like to say in the US, drinking the Kool-Aid, then you are a bad religious leader. Now, yes, Israel conquered. I don't have the illusion that Israel is a saint. I don't have the illusions that all the decisions made by my governments or even by individuals in the army are good. And I think that people that are guilty for killing innocent people, whether Jewish, Christians, or Muslims, should be judged, and all of them should have the same sentence. Okay? For killing innocents, those people must die. This is my opinion. As much as I'm being a humanist, and I am being a humanist, and I am being a left-wingist, and I don't mind telling you people, I voted Meretz. I have no problem talking about my political opinions. And if you have a problem with this fine, okay? I get you. The fact that that I voted for the left wing doesn't suggest that I'm anti-Israel and even though I'm post-Zionist, doesn't mean that I don't want to have a good life here, a good, healthy life in Israel, where, the people around me, all the citizens are the same. I'm very much for living in a democratic country, one that is free from any specific religious designation. And I don't have it here, so on Saturday I can't get anywhere unless I have a car, and most of the things are closed. There are many rules that hamper the modern living in a society like this. And, I live with that. I have to live with that. So right now, on my altar, there is a memorial candle for all those people who died in France. And it's shocking and it's dreadful. And, many people around me are like, I wouldn't say that they are happy that this has happened, but there is this sense of good. Now they can finally see what it is to live under a terrorist threat all the time. Because in a way, Israel is the last bastion of Western civilization. So east, so far east from Europe and from the US. And not being able to control the situation here, it's like, pouring to other places. And, Israelis who read the map about, for instance, Daesh, and, the things that is happening in Syria, can say that this is something that you can see pouring into Europe, pouring into the US, pouring for the rest of the world, because, much like in some doctrines of Christianity, also in Islam, you give people Islam by the book or by the sword, and some extremists would take you on it. They are basically on a crusade to make the world Islam, the one true religion. and they don't care how many people die to get that cause. For instance, let me not talk about Islam, let's talk, because my problem is not with Islam also. My problem is with monotheism that tries to say my way is the only right way and all the rest should die. This is my big problem here. So if I'm talking, for instance, about, Judaism, I'm coming from, as I said, a Jewish secular home. We have the Haredis, which are extremists in a way. Again, not all of them. And Yishai Slishel killed, first of all, 10 years ago, he stabbed some people in the gay parade that has been through Jerusalem, and he got to prison. But now he got freed, and he got to the gay pride parade again, and he killed a woman. He killed a girl called Shira Banki. That was not even a gay person, she was a supportive. And he had the audacity to say that the gay parade should be cancelled now in memorial of Shira Banki that he murdered. Yes, he actually said that. I don't know if they translated what he said to foreign media, but this is his opinion. And I really hope that he rots in prison. I really hope that he rots in prison for the rest of his life for killing that sweet baby. Okay? So this is Jewish terrorism. And I think that if he was a Muslim person, or a Christian person, that doesn't matter. I think that he should be killed. He should be killed, he should get the shot, he should get the chair, okay? Because this is an act of terrorism. And an act of, it's a hate crime. This is me, and my opinions are somewhat extremists, even for a humanist. I think that human life is important and sacred, and once that sacred bond is being broken under certain circumstances, that person cannot be cleaned from his crime, and his crime should condemn him or her forever. Now, the thing that happened in France, and also the 9/11, what happened in the 9/11 was basically by Al-Qaeda. Daesh is the new reincarnation of Al-Qaeda. It's the same organization with a new name, basically. I think the West should intercede in this. I think the USA and France and Britain and every country on the West that want to keep the Western civilization intact should intercede in this. How? I'm not a politician, I'm not a statesman. I don't know how precisely they should, okay? But the definition of a state includes the control and the monopolizing of one's own violence. So the state should use the violence needed to uproot terrorism, whatever means necessary. Whatever means necessary. I don't think this should be, I think that people should avoid harming the innocents as much as they can. But if you are giving aid to people that are about to cause a terrorist act, you are not an innocent, you are an accomplice, okay? And you should be imprisoned for that. And if you did a terrorist act, you should be killed, either by the police force or by the judge that sentenced you to die. My fellow witches, I grew up in a country where terrorism is rampant ever since I was a baby. I remember my mother arguing with me that she didn't want me to go to Tel Aviv. Now, you people, you know, if you even are aware to Israel, you know the two big cities, our international city, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem, our inheritance city that is now completely unsafe, and some neighborhoods should be avoided because they are no longer considered under Israeli rule. They have their own rule, okay? But I live in Tiberias. I live in basically this country suburban city that would be considered in the US like a small town to the shore of the Sea of Galilee. We didn't have any real terrorist attack here, ever. We had a case where terrorists rode through Tiberias and they had a problem and their car exploded in the middle of Tiberias many years back, but a woman got harmed by this, but her face got disfigured. She didn't die, and we all know that woman because basically, it's a small town and we know people. But usually we don't have a terrorist problem in Tiberias. It's a safer city. It's a safer city, during terrorist times, but not during wars. We had missiles breaking, flying over us when we had the wars of Lebanon, and during the first Gulf War, we all had to prepare special safe rooms, and we had to put gas masks on. I don't think you really know what terror looks like until you own a baby gas mask for your baby, because you don't know if your enemy is going to use chemical weapon, and having like specialty kits with atropine in the case that you got poisoned with nerve gas. But this is a reality that every Israeli knows. Every Israeli knows. We can try and act like we are part of the West, but since we are on this border of the West, we have to protect ourselves, and this is why 3/4 of our annual income goes to security. Yes, our tax-paying money is going for security, not to the education system, not to anything else almost besides security. This might be shocking for some of you who don't know Israel all that well. But my mother would argue with me not to go to Tel Aviv because just last week, there was a bomb on the bus and 100 people died on that bus. And we had like horrid photographs on the newspaper. And that was when I was 16. This didn't happen last week. It happened last week when I was 16, and now I'm like 31. And we had to fight over this. People wanted to keep their family home. We are under constant stressful duress, and we feel that. We go to the grocery store, we go to do whatever we need to do at the bank, and we know that we might get stabbed, ran over, and killed, not for our money or for anything, just because we don't look like, or even if we do look like Muslim Arabs, in this specific case of Israel, or if we are gay, because some Haredi might stab us now. So you are aware that there's a pagan, homosexual witch that does not belong, does not really belong to Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. I'm like living outside of the broom closet, and living outside of the gay closet is like a very brave choice for me. It's a very brave choice of me. And this is why I constantly have protections on me. I don't leave the house without magical protections. Now, here's a little tidbit about Israel. Almost in every grocery store, or almost in every kiosk, or a lot of stores of other stuff, they sell pepper sprays. Yes, most people in Israel are now walking around with pepper sprays. Not that it's an efficient protective measure, or one would think that it is an efficient protective measure. It isn't. Not when somebody is like running towards you with a knife until you pull it out of your gun. I'm sorry, until you pull this out of your bag, you know. And this is not the USA. We don't have like, you know, the right to carry our own arms. And yesterday, while I did my daily walk, I do walks. Every day I do an hour walk outside of the house. I saw a soldier with his weapon in front of him and with a cartridge inside the weapon. And I'm aware that everyone that has a weapon has it like, you know, just pull and use it because, you know, the situation here is dire. And I would tell you, witches of the world, this is the time to break out the serious protections. If you're a French witch, or if you're an American witch, because, you know, just the fact that this just happened in France, this is Daesh, this is Al Qaeda. They would love to do this again in the US. If you walk in a large apartment building, or I don't mean to spread panic, really, okay? But better safe than sorry. Really, better safe than sorry. You never know how the next attack will appear. And it might appear by someone that looks familiar even. It doesn't have to be a Muslim. It doesn't have to look like a Muslim. It doesn't have to look like anything. It could be like somebody just, you know, bombing your house with something. You can't really know. You can't really know. And trusting the government right now for the personal safety of all the citizens is not a wise idea. Break out your protection spells, okay? Send gifts to soldiers in the front. Send packages of soldiers you don't know with special things in the front to make their life a little easier, because those people are dying for you. Those people are dying for you, they are living for you, and they are dying for you. And you know, if they are protecting you and they are dying to protect you, give them gifts. And the dead soldiers that died for your country, give them offerings. Let them guard you in the astral. Let them protect you. We all need that protection. Now nobody is safe. Right now, as I speak, people are being stabbed, run over, and harmed in Israel on a daily basis by terrorists, by specifically in our case it's Muslim terrorists right now. I don't think they even belong to Daesh. They might be part of Hezbollah. They might be part of a lot of things. We don't have a lot of information, really. Some of them are being killed, some of them are being imprisoned, some of them are being interrogated. A few weeks back, we arrested a 13-year-old boy that basically he and his uncle decided to do a terrorist attack. So he was the one carrying the knives for his uncle. So now that baby is in the system, is like, you know, in the prison system. I think propaganda can shape young minds to do horrible, horrible things, and if we watch the history, we can see that very clearly. And really, I would like to know, you know, the witches that follow me, the people who follow me that aren't witches, what are you doing to protect yourself? Either respond here or do a video response. And again, I'm really sorry. I feel really bad for all those people who lost their life for some fucked up ideology. And I light memorial candles for all those people who died in such a tragic state. Goodbye and Ashe.